All right, this is Mr. Wyrick. I'm here today to walk you through this Unit 6A test review, try to get you ready to take this quiz tomorrow and hopefully the test when we get to the test. So on this first one, we're talking about equivalent expressions. You got to remember the rules of exponents, but the best thing to do is split it up and take it one piece at a time. So the 14 over 21, that's a fraction. That's going to reduce to 2 over 3. You can type that one in on the calculator. Anytime you got numbers like this, leave them separate. Don't try to mess with that with the rules of exponents. Don't try to think about the rules of exponents. They're numbers. Put them in the calculator, reduce the fraction, square it, whatever you got to do. They're just numbers. They stay numbers. The rules of exponents don't apply to these numbers. Now on this, x to the 7th over x to the 5th, we are dividing. We subtract the exponents. 7 minus 5 is 2. And the bigger number's on the top. So this is going to be x squared on the top. On this one, the y to the negative 2 moves down to the bottom. It has a negative exponent. It's got to travel. This y to the 11th, though, not a negative exponent. So you don't swap them. It's just on the bottom is going to be a y to the 11th power, and on the bottom is going to be a y squared. Since you got both of them down there, 11 plus 2, we're multiplying. We add those exponents. 11 plus 2 is 13. That is a y to the 13th power on the bottom of the fraction. Then this is a negative exponent. It travels. This is a negative exponent. It travels. That's z to the 6th power over z to the 3rd power. We are dividing. We subtract. 6 minus 3 is 3. That's z to the 3rd up on the top. Answer always goes where the bigger exponent is. On this one right here, it's almost like a trick question. This is my radius. I square it. Number. Just square it. 9 squared is 81. A to the 5th squared. When you raise an exponent to another exponent, you multiply exponents. 5 times 2 is 10. That's A. I can't write A's upside down for some reason. A to the 10th. And then B to the 11th squared. 11 times 2 is going to be 22. When we raise a power to a power, we multiply them. 22. And then this is times pi. Just put the little pi symbol out here and you're good. Okay, it'll be part of the answer. You're looking at multiple choice anyway. This one, area of the base times the height. This was on our paper. It's just the illustration's gone. So this is going to be m squared times m to the 3rd, and there's no other m's. 2 plus 3. When you multiply, you add the exponents. That's m to the 5th. Then do the n's. We got n squared. We got n to the 4th. N squared, n to the 4th. We are multiplying, so we add the exponents. 2 plus 4 is 6. That's n to the 6th power. The equivalent of this one, when we multiply, we add them. That would be a plus b. When we raise to a power, we are going to multiply those exponents. That's a times c and b times c. Okay, so we are adding these and we're multiplying them by c. So a and b are gone as options. We got those subtracting. When we multiply, we add those exponents. When we raise to a power, we're multiplying those by that c. Now, when we divide, we subtract the exponent. So that means I'm looking for the subtraction. My answer on this one is c. Equivalent expression. Again, here's my number. These are both divisible by 6. That's a negative 3 over 5. Then my a's. The negative exponent has to travel to the top. Anything to the 0 power is just 1. So I'm going to put a 1 through it. I'm not marking it out. It's not nothing. It's 1. So multiplying this fraction by 1 is going to leave it. A to the negative 9th on the bottom becomes a to the positive 9 on the top. A is upside down. There we go. A to the 9th on the top. B to the negative 5th over B to the 3rd. Again, we're traveling with the negatives. That's going to be B to the 3rd on top, B to the 5th on the bottom. And this is going to be a 1 here. Okay? When we're dividing in both of these cases, we subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bigger numbers on the bottom. Answer goes on the bottom. B squared. C to the 11th minus 1 is C to the 10th. Bigger number on the bottom. Answer goes on the bottom. C to the 10th. So we got negative 3a to the 9th over 5, b squared c to the 10th. On the back, more of the same. This one we went over during class. Just remember, it's under the square root. So it's 225 m to the 14th power, n to the 20th power. Same thing we're doing all the way down this. If we got a fifth root, we're looking for groups of 5. This is a square root. If there's no number, that's a 2. We're looking for groups of 2. This one, cube root, we are looking for groups of 3. This one, there's no number, it's a 2. Square root, we're looking for groups of 2. Since all of these work the same, I'm just going to go through just 2 of them real quick. Okay? On this one, if we got 500, I'm making my cake here. This is going to be 2 and 250. That's even still, so 2 and 125. That's divisible by 5. You can use your calculator to find these out. This is going to be 25. 25 is going to be 5 and 5. That's where I stop. So underneath my square root, or not my square root this time, my cube root, I got 1, 2, 3 5s, and 2 2s. I've got 7 x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I got 12 y's. I'm just going to write that y to the 12th. I'm running out of room. I got 3 5s, that's a 5 on the outside. Okay? These 2 2s, however, there's not a group of 3, so both of those 2s go under here. My x's, here's a group of 3, here's a group of 3. That would be an x and an x on the outside. This x, not paired up, not tripled up, stays with the x underneath. Okay? Underneath. The y to the 12th. If I'm thinking about this, groups of 3, I'm going to have 4 groups of 3 out of this y. So that's going to be 4 y's out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Everything that's outside, I got to multiply together. So 5 is just 5. X times x gives me x squared. Y times y times y times y gives me y to the 4th power. Then I have my cube root. And everything that's inside gets multiplied together. 2 times 2 is 4. My x is just an x. And there's no y's left. So I'd read this whole thing as 5x squared, y to the 4th, cube root of 4x. Okay, the last one I want to show you is this one right here with the numbers, because these two are going to work the same kind of way. Remember, this one's groups of 2 down here. This one up here, you're going to be circling groups of 5. Anything you got left over stays underneath. This one right here, though, that -7, we can't ignore it. I'm going to leave it alone to start with. Work with my 81. I got 3 and 27. 27 is going to be 3 and 9. 9 is going to be 3 and 3. I got 4 3s. So that means there's a pair of 3s, there's a pair of 3s. Both of those are going to come outside of my square root. Since I got nothing left under my square root, I can get rid of it. I don't still have to write it. But here's this -7. We can't lose this. It doesn't go away. So I'm going to bring this down right here and put that -7 there. And just like before, everything that's outside gets multiplied together. Everything that's inside gets multiplied together. Nothing left inside. But outside, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times -7 is going to give me a -63 on this. Now, when you got something like this, remember, when it's numbers, you can type this into the calculator. If it gives you some kind of decimal, work through, reduce it, and find the answer that's going to give you that same decimal when you type it in, especially if it's multiple choice. If you're not real good at factoring this out, you can test the answers that way. You can check and make sure you got the right one. Other than that, if there are any questions that you have on this, come down, find your algebra teacher in the morning, get those questions answered before you try to take this. Make sure you know what you're doing, and we'll talk to you later.